Hey, what's going on, man?
Morning.
Good morning. How you
Got
doing
me up,
today?
got me bright and early on a Sunday.
Yeah, 10 a.m.
Not too
I'm
bad.
probably halfway through with work at 10 a.m.
Yeah, I forgot you're the early shift.
Yeah, 6 to 2 p.m. in Pontiac.
Oof.
A little early.
Oh, I guess you get used to
Yeah, it's early. You feel like you're jet lagged and you didn't go anywhere.
it. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I worked at Lowe's one summer in college and was the 4 to 9 a.m. shift.
Oh yeah,
Nothing like waking up at 3:30 in the morning.
that's rough. So tell me what you been up to, AJ?
Quarantining. No, just kind of been chilling at home, been able to work from home. So it's been lucky in that regard. So
Okay.
we're actually in my office in the basement right now.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, but otherwise, just keeping busy, reading books, watching TV, going for walks, as
Very
much
cool.
as you can do.
Yeah. And for people who don't know, AJ is my probably longest time friend. I think I've known you since I was born.
Yeah, I think it's 3 or 4. Yeah, yeah. So we're going on 25 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man.
Yeah.
Always lived just down the street from me. We maybe an hour away now. I think you're in Ann Arbor now at Plymouth.
No, I just moved in Royal Oak, so I'm about probably a half 20 minutes from you right now, 20,
Oh, very
25.
cool. I got to come see your place when all this quarantine stuff is over with.
Yeah, hopefully it's sometime soon.
Yeah, sometime soon. And tell me, what are you doing for work now?
So I work at Olympia Entertainment. So it handles the Red Wings and Tigers in downtown Detroit there. So I just work as a financial analyst.
Sounds like a cool gig working for, kind of a sports team or a sports area anyway.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely not something I ever expected to do, but it's kind of a childhood dream in the same
Yeah.
way. So opportunity presented itself, and it's been about a year and 3 months now.
And
So
now, what are you actually doing on a day-to-day basis? You're not doing accounting.
um, it's more, it's not direct like credits and debits accounting, but it's just helping with the financial aspects at a company, doing some analyses and helping out where we can.
Cost reductions.
So it's, yeah, whatever is needed. I mean, obviously with the current pandemic that's going on, it's just kind of figuring it out day by day.
Sure.
Definitely throws a wrench into live entertainment.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest industries that's hit right now. There are
Yeah.
some industries like cleaning supplies are booming, uh,
Yeah.
but a lot of the other ones, restaurants and live entertainment, they're really struggling right now for sure.
Yeah. A lot of the ones that are top of mind of what you do every day are kind of struggling. There's no just popping out to a restaurant now or going to a Tigers game because it's what, mid-July, so we'd be halfway through the season by now, and it's supposed to start up next week.
Yeah,
So
yeah. The racing series are just barely starting up again. I was watching the World
uh,
Championship MotoGP in Spain today. They're racing at like 4:30 our time. Uh,
yeah,
and but they don't have any fans in the stands, so it's all there's usually 100,000 people there. There's just the crew and the camera crew, and that's it.
yeah. I think that's kind of the weird thing. It almost looks like a practice run.
Yeah.
There's
um,
no there.
I wonder how that affects the riders if they're they usually feed off of all the air horns and all the smoke signals and flares going off in the stands and all that, and now there's nobody there. I mean, they're still going to be trying their hardest, but it's just going to be different.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're professionals, so I'm sure they're able to get an edge somehow, but they probably had to adapt rather quickly. But I guess it's better than no racing.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been watching that, and I know that Formula One is. I think they're in Hungary today, so I was going to watch that.
Oh, okay.
Fill
Yeah.
my TV schedule with racing today.
Yeah, it's definitely good that some sports are coming back. Because it was definitely eerie not watching anything. We're just watching reruns.
Yeah, I was rewatching the 2008 season for a while, just trying to catch up
Yeah,
because I never watched it before. Going back and
yeah,
seeing the guys from 12 years ago is kind of cool.
yeah. Well, especially when all the races are over in Europe, it's hard to time it.
Right.
You wake up early for work, but
Yeah.
it's not your first thing is, oh, wake up, have a cup of coffee, and then turn racing on. It's not
Yeah.
an instinctual thing because you're used to sports here or in the afternoon or
Yeah, it's
in the
very
evening.
different structure because it's all over the world. It could be in Japan and it's different time schedule, so I have to watch it the next day.
Yeah.
Um,
So, but it's definitely with all the technology, it makes it easier than ever. Like you can go back and watch that
yeah,
2008 season.
yeah, it's cool. But today, so there was a glitch today. I was watching it on the video pass that I pay for, and I
Mhm.
paused it. I went upstairs to brush my teeth. There was like 10 laps left, and since it was live, I don't have control over everything. Sometimes it'll like restart the page, and it'll put me
Oh.
different time. I'm like, no, I don't want to know. So I got to go back and click back to whatever time it was. But then it went on to the next feature event, and that event hadn't been consolidated into a file I could click on yet. So I was like, watching it because it moved on to the next thing and it screwed up my place. So it's not,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's way better than not seeing it because you don't have DVR or something.
Yeah. I can only imagine what it would be like if we didn't have the technologies
You just wouldn't see
that
it.
we do now. Like if this was 30 years ago.
Yeah, it just airs one time. It's not on YouTube. There's no replay you can go online and see. There is no internet. You just
Yeah.
comes on one time, you catch it or you miss it.
Yeah.
So I did a ridiculous bicycle ride yesterday for me anyway. I
Oh
did
yeah, we're at.
from my house all the way to Stony Creek Metro Park. I did 2 long laps with the golf course and the nature trail, and then went on the Clinton River Trail a little bit. I was trying to do at least 35, 36 miles, and I ended up doing 50.
Damn. I don't like driving 50 miles.
Man, and I looked down at my little bike computer, and it says at one point it was 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And I went to, I stopped for some food almost at the end of it, and I went in, and I realized there was salt all over my face.
Just dried.
Sweating for 3 hours.
Yeah.
From all that dried sweat. I'm thinking I probably look pretty weird right now with all this salt.
Yeah. What time did you start?
I started actually at 10 o'clock yesterday, and it was about under 3.5 hours. I stopped a couple of times, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Not bad time for 50 miles.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely go faster, but not for that extended period of time.
Yeah, no. And it's
Yeah.
kind of just to stay in shape, and when you don't have someone to compete with, it's just kind of your own time. And
yeah, my race got canceled. I was
really?
doing some mountain bike racing this year, but they canceled the whole. I don't know if they canceled the whole series. I think there's going to be some individual races, but there won't be a full championship. So
that's why you've been doing that for a couple of years now, haven't you?
yeah, I started the mountain bike racing in 2018. I did a half a season, I think six out of 10 events, and won the championship. And then
that's what I remember.
The next highest series or the class sport the next year, and I got 3rd or 4th in the state, I think, and over.
Yeah, that's cool. Are any of the trophies behind you?
Yeah, a couple of them. Here's other side, right? Right here. This one's a mountain bike trophy. So is this one. So there's some mountain bike ones in there, and a lot of the plates here are mountain bikes.
Yeah.
I think these are all running over on this side.
Oh, okay.
So I've done some foot races too. I'm not super competitive with the foot races, but I like to try and do a whole bunch of different stuff because I really feel like the foot racing helps your mountain bike racing, helps your motorcycle racing. It can't hurt you really. Just makes you more overall all around experienced at it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you get healthier, and then it helps with the mental aspect.
Sure. Yeah, and the big thing is the physical endurance, because if I can go out there and do 50 miles in 100 degrees, and then I go hop on a motorcycle that's 200 degrees below me, and it's already 100 degrees outside wearing a full leather suit, it's exhausting. People don't understand how physically draining it is being out there 100 degrees wearing a full leather suit, and your bike is hundreds of degrees also.
Do you know how much, like, water weight you lose,
You know,
like on an average race? Just given if you
I
were in a
don't
full
always
leather
measure
suit.
that, but yeah, I've lost upwards of 10 pounds, I think, on the bike in a weekend. And I remember playing roller hockey, playing goalie out like Levagood Park area,
Yeah.
losing 10, 15 pounds in a day, playing all day during the summer at
Oh yeah.
degrees, wearing all that gear. You lose a lot of weight. And I drink so much water. I always have waters on hand. And
Yeah. I got a giant one.
yeah, I mean, after the ride yesterday, I was just stretching and I was just cramping up in different spots. I was like, oh
Oh
no,
yeah.
I'm just so drained of electrolytes at that point.
Yeah.
Need to just keep hydrating.
Yeah. Especially at that 100-degree heat.
And
Are
even
you ever?
those Goo Energy Chews or any of those
Yeah.
packs with electrolytes are so helpful.
Yeah.
They make a big difference.
Yeah. You don't realize it until you're doing those a 50-mile bike ride in 100-degree heat for 3 hours.
Yeah. And it's like, I always think, oh, I want to go harder. I want to go faster and all this stuff. But sometimes you just got to say, I can't go any faster. A couple miles slower and finish what you're doing rather than like pull a muscle or something.
Yeah. Live to fight another day.
Yep. Just get through it.
Yep. Not every day is going to be your best day.
Exactly.
Yeah. Are you ever considering doing a triathlon with your brother?
Yes. Yes, I'll say it. I will.
we're getting you on camera for this.
Yes, I admit it. I've done one before. I've done an indoor triathlon. You can kind of say it's half-assed. It was a
It's more than I would do.
yeah, it was a time-based event. So there was three. You did it on a stationary bike, I think first, and then you swam in the pool. I don't remember the order, and then you ran on a treadmill, and they just timed it, and then they said, okay, on to the next thing, and however much distance you got, gave your place in line based on your age group and all those things. So.
Okay.
For me, it was just I wanted to complete it. I'm not really looking to win the race now. I'm just looking to complete a new distance or discipline. So yeah, I think there's a couple different triathlon distances. There's a sprint distance, there's an Olympic distance, there's maybe a half, and then there's the full. So like the sprint distance or even the Olympic distance, I think me and you could complete today and be okay. Like it wouldn't take an incredible amount of training to do it. Yes, we'd be sore the next day, but we could do it. The full one, 140 miles, you're gonna have to fit for that because like for me, after 50 miles, I'm ready to get off the bike. I don't want to pedal anymore after that.
Yeah, because Kevin does the full ones, doesn't he?
He's done 4 full Ironman triathlons, which is the 140 miles. And I think he's completing those in around 12 hours, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And actually, he wants to do a step up from the Ironmans, which I think is a step up. It's called Xterra Ironman, or I'm not sure the exact title of it, but it's an off-road full Ironman distance.
Oh, so it's not like smooth anything?
It's not pavement. It's in the dirt trails. It's like a mountain bike Ironman.
Huh.
And then you're running on trails. I said, well, how did they have an off-road swimming course? So it's in the water. But yeah, it's
you gotta swim up a waterfall.
That'd be cool. A river or something. So yeah, imagine the effort that it would take to ride just a road bicycle with the skinny tires at 100 PSI for 112 or 120 miles, whatever it is, versus being in a mountain bike course where you're, going up and down and
can't fall off.
Yeah, it's going to be much more technically difficult for that.
Yeah. That'd be crazy. Like, does that add probably another couple hours on like the best finishing time, I guess?
I can hold 20 miles an hour on flat ground on a road bicycle. There's no way you can hold 20 miles an hour on a mountain bike.
No.
So you're maybe doing, I don't know, depends on the course, but 12 miles an hour maybe. Higher in the trails. So it's very different. Yeah, you're going a lot slower. Usually when I try to get a lot of miles in, I'll ride the road bicycle because it's faster. It's way faster. Just different effort levels for sure.
Yeah, and you kind of, I feel like riding a road bike, you can settle into a rhythm. There's no
Yeah.
real rhythm mountain biking.
Yeah.
It's
I
just the
mean,
next one.
you're just figuring out. Sometimes you don't even know the course. Like when I'm doing
Yeah,
these races, I don't know the trail. I don't know the
yeah,
map of it. You can't memorize 700 corners.
no.
And you
Or,
can,
or run a tree route's gonna pop up.
yeah. And sometimes you remember this part has a lot of sand. You got to be careful. But most of the time, it's like the first or second time I've ever seen the trail. Uh,
Yeah.
and you could pre-ride it, but I'm not to a level where I can push 100% pre-riding the trail that it's going to really help me out the next day, and I'm going to be more tired the next day from doing that.
Yeah.
It's not beneficial.
Yeah, you wouldn't be at peak performance.
Right. I'd rather just see it for the first time. That's not ideal, but
Yeah. Where do they have some of the Xterra Ironmans?
the Xterra ones, I have no idea. But the mountain bike stuff that I do is all around the state. There's at least, well, if you go 10 miles in any direction around me, there's decent trails that you can go to
Mhm.
that are marked, that are, dedicated mountain biking trails that are really good. I mean, we don't have mountains in Michigan,
Yeah.
but we have some pretty decent hills and stuff that the local volunteers have really cleared away and made legitimate. You actually came, I think, mountain biking with me at Stone
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, 2017, 2018 maybe.
Yeah, it's all blending together.
Yeah.
After 21, it's like, I don't know.
Yep. But yeah, I'd love to have you come out and ride sometime with me at some of these trails again. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll have to get back to it. I think right now I have a beach cruiser bike, single
Okay.
speed. So I don't
Well,
think my bike will handle it.
I still have an extra, my old Trek. You could use that. I mean, it's not perfect. It's
Yeah, I think I used one of your bikes last time.
yeah. That's what I used to win a championship on. So it's doable. It's not perfect though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would probably be rough. I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah. So your forte isn't really the racing. Your forte is basketball.
Yeah, other sports,
Other sports, yeah. And
not endurance
baseball.
sports. Yeah,
Not
baseball, soccer. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I was playing in a rec league for basketball that obviously got canceled. I think we had like 5 games left.
Oh, yeah.
So I still played basketball occasionally, but I think 4 years of college kind of took a toll on my body. So I've kind of slowed down a little bit and just kind of play for fun once a week, maybe.
Was it the injuries or like the constant scheduling of
Probably
the
more injuries.
injuries?
Yeah. So like I have bone spurs in my back, ankle injuries, knee issues. So it's just more at this point, not worth it to push it every day
Yeah.
because it's not going to make it any better. So it's just kind of learning to adjust to it and then do workouts that make your body feel better.
Well, and basketball is a very jarring sport on your body.
Oh, yeah.
You're wearing zero padding. You're bumping
Yeah.
into everybody and falling down, and that is the constant. Just every time you take a shot, you're jumping and hitting your knees on the ground, and
Yeah, all the sharp cuts from jumping, and then also I was playing power forward and center, and I was probably 40 pounds underweight.
oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I was 6'4", 220 pounds, but I'm going against guys that are 6'7", 260, 280.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually where my bone spurs came from. Just
Okay.
taking those constant hits over and over. You
it's
got to
a
kind of
much
stand
like-
your ground.
And it's different for me coming from hockey. I was always struggling every time I play basketball. It's like I'd make a foul or something because hockey where I'm trying to knock you down, and now I'm playing basketball. It's like, how is that a foul? That's not a foul. I don't understand these rules.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the ref, but definitely basketball today is much more. They try to be hands-off, offensive oriented. I guess to be the way to put it. It's not the
meant to be-
It's not the 1980s with the bad boys and
Yeah.
when they'd let you just clothesline someone out of the air and like, oh, whatever, normal foul. Now you'd be kicked out and suspended for a week.
So it's not really a contact sport anymore.
In subtle ways, it is,
Yeah.
but not what it was. Like if you
Not
go
hip
back and
checking
watch,
people.
yeah, no. I mean, you can, but you're going to get a foul called and probably a flagrant foul and get kicked out of the game.
Right, for sure. And so you're not really training for that anymore. You made it to a pretty high level in basketball, I'd say, for anybody that I know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it was definitely a blessing to be able to play 4 years in college. Um,
And talk
and
about
I've
who'd you play for?
played for U of M Dearborn. So they're in NAIA. So it's kind of a separate division from NCAA. But we kind of played mostly local schools around here in Ohio, Indiana, play like Madonna, Davenport, your dad's alma mater.
Yeah.
um, and yeah, just kind of, we were part of the, what was it called? The WAC, Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. So it was a lot of taking Greyhound buses to Ohio and Indiana. So I've seen enough of Ohio and Indiana to last me for quite a while. And also I'm good on Greyhound buses.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a good experience, and I've made a lot of friends that I'll be friends with for the rest of my life. Just
That's
from,
good.
yeah, you spend like 8 hours a day. You spend more time with them than you do with your family for 4 years.
Yeah.
So,
What were some of the things that you had to work on and get better once you made the transition from high school to college, and how was that transition for you?
yeah, so I think definitely the transition from high school to college is more the mental aspect, because in high school, if you're the best player on the team, you generally just have a athletic advantage. But once you get to college, that kind of levels out.
Because everybody's
And,
already
and
playing at such a high level.
yeah, so you kind of have to think the game a little more. So, like on defense, you're not necessarily going to be the quickest guy in the court anymore. So you have to learn to pick your angles. So, like if you stand and you can read which way his body's leaning, you angle your feet and then you can beat him in a straight line. So you take better angles and try to think a couple plays ahead. So that was definitely the biggest challenge. It probably takes a couple years just to get used to.
Yeah.
Because in high school, you're just playing basketball
Right.
on kind of all levels. I mean, sometimes, especially if you see like the top high school players, it's not even fair.
Yeah.
But once you get to college, it starts to level out. And then obviously once you get past that in the pros, I think as you go up in sports, the mental aspect is a big thing. And then your work ethic. Like you can be the most talented person in the world, but if you're not working hard at it, someone's going to pass you.
Yeah. And did you have a group of guys that you trained with a lot, or coaches pushing you, or what do you think put you in that position to be a college level basketball player?
So it's just, I think I started focusing more on the mental aspect probably my sophomore year.
Okay.
Like freshman year for everyone's kind of an adjustment. You're not in high school anymore. It's college.
On your own a little bit.
Yeah, you're 18 years old. There's a little bit of growing up to do. But then as you kind of get used to the rigors of the season, you realize you have to balance your schoolwork. You got to have a schedule. You got to work through 2-a-days. So in the beginning of the season, as you're training for the season, you work out at 5 a.m, go to class all day, and then you have practice at night. And just kind of getting used to that and realizing that it's a full-time job on top of going to school.
Right. It's going to be 12, 14 hours a day. You might not be playing basketball the whole time, but you're going to be working on something.
Yeah. In the gym, getting shots up, working out, icing your knees.
Yeah.
There's always something related.
All those injuries.
Yeah. Trying to watch film, trying to get ahead of it. But it's definitely was good to have teammates to push you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's probably like in racing, it's kind of one-on-one. Like you're racing against other people, but it's more you're trying to beat your personal best. It's a little focused on the team sport, I guess, unless you're LeBron James. Like you're not going to carry a team, so you realize you need to work with your teammates and being able to push each other. You make the team better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much, if there's somebody better than you in basketball, you try your hardest and try to emulate them. And but the difference between trying harder to beat someone in basketball and trying to beat someone in racing is if you try to really, really hard to catch someone in racing, you could fall down and there's a little bit more risk involved. So you got to be a little
Yeah.
moderate with how far you push things.
Yeah, you got to kind of do the risk
Yeah,
analysis in
risk
real time.
reward. Yep.
Yeah.
It sucks falling down in basketball, but it sucks falling down in racing.
Yeah. You're not going over 100 miles an hour in basketball.
Yeah. Right. So it's just different levels.
Yeah. But I think some of the mental aspects can be carried over to both,
Yeah.
like just the mental toughness and the resilience and
Yep.
all those things, which actually carry over into life in general too. So I think that's the benefit of sports.
I think they're so beneficial. I've had friends that weren't into sports, and I feel like they have such a different level of stick-to-itiveness or like
Yeah.
determination. Sometimes they'll come up to an obstacle and like, oh, I can't do it. I guess it's not going to happen then, and just and stop. But for me or you, we hit these obstacles, and it's like, well, okay, that stinks. Well, how do I get around this?
Yep.
Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better, because that's something that you can change.
Yeah.
And I think I won an award in high school playing hockey for, I forget what the title of it was, but it was something along the lines of most improved, or I was somebody who always worked on the things I sucked at. So instead of practicing the things you're great at, because you're great at that and you're going to look great at that in front of the coaches, how about you work on the things that you stink at so that you can get better and improve on those things that you need improving on? Because there was a lot of things that I wasn't good at when I was playing ice hockey when I first started. I had played roller hockey forever, and I just never made the transition to ice until high school. I had skated. I mean, I had ice skates when I was younger, but never really skated competitively. And then I had bought ice skates and skated less than 10 times on ice before I tried out for varsity hockey. I had a lot to improve on. I made the team. I didn't play a whole lot the first year, but I remember in practice going against a AAA guy, and had my head down, just looking at the puck, trying to figure out how to skate, just get leveled, just get laid out one-on-one with him, and just looking at the sky, trying to breathe now. But it's humbling, and I don't think people work on their deficits enough. I think that's a big factor.
Yeah, you get the feedback, and then I think sports teaches you is just come back at it the next day and just keep trying to get better every day.
You only fail when you stop doing it.
Exactly.
It's always another day.
Yeah, and I think it definitely probably racing, and like you probably learned with ice hockey there, is a little bit of humbleness. Like you want to be confident, but like be able to realize where you're weak at something.
Yeah.
Realize you need to get better and work on it, and then you can get better.
It's very humbling. You have to say, okay, I'm not good here. I need to improve. You have to identify that. Otherwise, you're going to think you're the shit, and you're never going to do anything about it.
Exactly.
You have to be. It is humbling to see someone else going through a corner 20 miles an hour faster than you. You're like, how is he doing that? Why am I doing that? And what am I doing wrong? I've been told before. I said something like, "Oh, I didn't crash. I went through that corner just fine." And somebody said, "Just because you didn't crash doesn't mean you didn't screw up the corner."
Exactly.
There's 1,000 ways you could go through it. And maybe the one you chose wasn't the best.
Yeah, but maybe you just got lucky on that curve.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's definitely one of the things I'm glad we grew up playing sports.
Yeah, for sure. And I think our foundation was mostly soccer.
Yeah.
We played soccer for, I think, a dozen years.
Yeah.
It was a fair
so.
level. I remember we were kicking ass some of those days.
Yeah, I think we probably started playing we were 5 or 6.
Yeah, very young.
Maybe. Yeah, and then I kept playing through high school. I think I took a break, maybe 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
I think that's when I took a break. But yeah, that was kind of the first experience. Like I didn't start playing basketball till 7th grade.
Just kind of fell into it because you kept growing.
Yeah, like we would play around in our backyards, but yeah, I think between 9th and 10th grade, I had like a 6-inch growth spurt.
Yeah, I remember you were coming over my backyard and we put chairs in place and see how high
Yeah.
you can jump over. We used to
Yeah.
videotape that.
Yeah, that was probably about 7th grade.
Yeah, it was
I think I found that picture. Um, one of them we had taken.
that was a good time.
Like my American Eagle shirt,
Yeah.
my hair that was pinned down to my face.
That was a good time, man.
Yeah.
Um, and so you said you moved over to Royal Oak now. How are you liking living over there?
Good. Yeah. So actually, I'm not sure if parents told you, but I got engaged about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. So
Exciting.
yeah, I moved in last month. So it's been about a month. It's been good. Royal Oak's obviously a great area, and then I haven't been going into the office, but about a 20-minute drive to work, and there's a lot of good stuff in the area. Um, it's just adjusting to being over on the east side
Yeah.
because I was Gibbon Heights and then Ann Arbor, Plymouth. Now I'm over to Royal Oak, but I really like it so far. We're in a nicer neighborhood where we can go for a nice long walk. So it definitely helps in times like these where you have nice neighborhoods to walk through. There's lots of parks, there's lots of trails.
A lot of good
So,
restaurants down there if they're open.
what was that?
A lot of good restaurants in Royal Oak if they're open.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been trying to do curbside maybe once a week to pick them up. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of the downtown Royal Oak, downtown Ferndale. You can go to Birmingham. There's a lot of cool cities, and then even downtown Detroit's not far.
Yeah.
So it's definitely very centrally located. I like it so far.
Yeah, I always like going to Royal Oak. It's always good to meet people. Always people, well, not now, but always a lot of people walking around, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's actually where when I was in Ann Arbor, we would meet in Royal Oak
Yeah.
because that was kind of a halfway point, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of the place to be. I mean, Sterling Heights doesn't really have a downtown. I mean, there's
No, yeah,
Utica, but there's not really a corridor around here.
yeah,
Supposed to be Hall Road, but it's not like there's no sidewalks to walk through, you know?
yeah. Hall Road also freaks me out a little bit. It reminds me of like an airport, like landing
It's like a
strip. It's just
souped
so
up telegraph.
wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so like oh, I should be able to walk. When you realize like to cross Hall Road,
Yeah. I
not
mean,
gonna happen.
every day, but I wouldn't advise it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
There's
the risk
43
taker.
million cars going by every year.
How many?
43 million.
Ooh. Yeah, the thing is like that wide of lanes and it still gets packed.
Oh, yeah. They need to make more lanes for sure.
Yeah. I feel like it would still be packed.
So if you didn't have to be here for work and money wasn't an option, would you still be in Michigan? Where's your ideal? I mean, is it like Barbados, Bermuda, Bahamas,
I guess Italy would be cool.
Italy?
Yeah. I guess just being I mean, I'm part Italian. I love Italian food and the history and that part of it. So I guess like anywhere in the world, maybe Italy.
Any part of Italy?
Probably Rome, outside Rome.
The history.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big history buff, so I like that part of it. And then it's kind of centrally located too. So if you want to go anywhere,
Yeah.
pretty close. Yeah.
It'd be cool. I haven't really been overseas. I mean, I've been to Canada a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I don't really consider that in a different country. It seems like just our attic or something, right?
Yeah, it's just another state. You just have to show your passport.
They're just really nice people who like Tim Hortons.
Yeah. That is a positive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think I've really. The one time I went out of the country is when I went to Japan.
Yeah, I was going to mention you went to
Sixth
Tokyo,
grade.
was it?
Nagoya.
Nagoya.
Yeah. So it's south of Tokyo. Not positive. It's been a while. But yeah, we went to Nagoya and then we went to Kyoto, which is the old capital with all the old Japanese temples and all that. So that was the year the Pistons won the championships. What was the 05? 04, 05?
At least a decade ago.
Yeah, more than that. 15 years. I think it was the end of 6th grade for us.
And that's got to be a culture shock. Tell me some of the things you learned over there or saw that was so different from here.
I was a little bit of a celebrity in that I had natural blonde hair. So like my brother as you know, has darker hair, and he kind of, when he has sunglasses on, could blend in. But I definitely stood out that I wasn't Japanese.
They're taking pictures with you?
Hmm.
Are they taking pictures with you?
No, but like if I went to a museum, like I remember they would give like keychains, and they were all very friendly. But it definitely stood out that I was a tourist with my
Yeah.
blonde hair. Um, Definitely the one thing, so in Japan, there's no street signs. So when we were in Nagoya, my dad would be working during the day. So we go out and explore. And then luckily with the hotel we were staying at was the tallest building in Nagoya. So we were able to, like, if we didn't know where we were after wandering, we could just look like, okay, there's the hotel. Start wandering back that way. So that's
It's like a
definitely an
beacon in the
adjustment.
sky. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the way their grids are set up, or their streets are set up, is they don't, like, their address isn't like, I'm on this street. They're like, it's this block and like this house number. It's like kind of the opposite of how we do it,
Okay.
which is definitely an adjustment.
Yeah.
Because you're so used to like, oh yeah, pull it up and like that street corner, and you're like, well, there's no street sign. So that was cool. And then I think the other one, McDonald's was very good. Like I don't eat a ton of McDonald's when I'm here. But in Japan, I think we probably had it 5-6 times in the 1 week we were there.
It's your embassy.
Yeah, makes it easy because you can go in and point.
Yeah.
And then in Japan, like the quality of freshness of food is important. So everything there is very fresh and good. So even the McDonald's quality was better in Japan than it is at home. So that was definitely a cool experience. See how it changes. Like, oh, the Golden Arches, it would just be McDonald's, but the menu changes. And when you're in 6th grade, you're like, I don't think anything of it. But looking back at it, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Different things for different parts of the world.
Yeah. So it was definitely a culture shock in that I didn't speak any Japanese.
Yeah. And your dad was over there for work. What was he doing over there?
So he was an engineer at Chrysler, recently retired. I think he was over there. I can't remember exactly because Chrysler's been owned by 3 different companies. They were never owned by Japanese. So I think he was meeting with a supplier maybe, or at some part. I remember he was going to go over there for a week, and then just him for a business trip. And then my mom and him talked and thought that it could be a kind of unique experience if we went with him because it was kind of the end of the school year and all that. So it was actually cool. He was able to downgrade from business class, and the cost savings from that, Chrysler ended up paying for a hotel for the week because I'm sure they still save money because how expensive business class seats are on a 14-hour flight.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we just kind of had to pay our flights over there. We went for about a week. Yeah, talk about jet lag.
That'd be pretty cool, though, for sure.
Yeah, it definitely throws you off. It's a good experience.
Yeah.
I actually I was going through the box of all the souvenirs I brought through, and I was moving my stuff in here.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
It's got to feel so strange. I've never been to another country and not spoken the language. I mean,
yeah,
English is widely spoken, but still, I mean, it's probably pretty sparsely spoken in Tokyo, I would think back then. Even.
Yeah, so we did notice like a couple times if we went into like a 7-Eleven, they would try to speak English with us. So that was kind of cool because like we knew like konnichiwa and basic things, but not enough. It's not like we went to Spain where we took Spanish for 5-10 years. We can at least know the basics.
Right.
Japanese is such a different language.
Different alphabet and everything, all the characters, and I don't even know.
Yeah, even just the voice and fluctuations, and it's a completely different culture, which was definitely cool to experience as would have been 12 then.
And they have more of the nuclear family. They live with their grandparents and their parents and their kids all in the same field a lot of times. Yeah,
and it's definitely they kind of reveal their elders, so it's a very respectful culture.
Yeah,
so that was different. And I think I remember I'm saying like they go to school 6 days a week.
Okay.
So I remember that blowing my mind when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like 6 days. Like 5 days is enough.
Right. Yeah. Who made the 7 days stuff? He's on 3 days off.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, so that was definitely a cool experience. So I want to, hopefully when this all dies down and we can travel again, is to make it over to Europe, and that'll be probably the next big trip, but who knows when we can do that.
Any place in mind in particular? Maybe Italy?
Italy, or maybe as an easy hop over, do England, in the
Okay.
UK.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a,
that's
it's
so
a
easy
different
'cause you
country, but
live
I speak the language.
yeah. You have the accent? Can you speak British English?
I don't think I have that,
You don't have that?
but yeah, I guess I can practice my Cockney accent.
Good day, mate.
Yeah, was it they drop? I guess I can do a terrible one.
I
But
think
they
that's
drop.
Australian.
Yeah, mate. I don't know. I think they say mate in England, but I think yeah, you definitely did Australian one. That'd be another cool country to visit. But I
Yeah.
don't know. I could deal with the 18-hour flight, something like that.
I thought you were gonna say the wildlife. I don't think but the wildlife, man, I'm fine with like spiders and stuff. I'm not really afraid of animals or bugs, but I'm afraid of them if they're poisonous.
Yeah,
And they are poisonous, and there's rattlesnakes and all kinds of scorpions, and it's a different continent that they have their own animals. And marsupials,
yeah.
that's pretty cool, but
Just kangaroos hopping around.
it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I think we're definitely lucky in Michigan in that we have pretty minimal
Yeah. If there's
venomous.
there's like a 97% chance that it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah,
So I'm not afraid of spiders for that aspect, but if they're black widows or you got those brown recluses or
yeah,
those aren't fun.
yeah. I remember when I was younger, I thought it'd be cool to like go to the rainforest, and now that you're older, you're like, it's a
Yeah,
lot of dangerous
yeah.
things in the rainforest.
My cousin Stevie Suzio, he went to
Oh yeah.
he went to Ecuador.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he maybe a decade ago he went to one of those I think it was like help out volunteer build a school or something like that.
Yeah,
Out teach.
yeah.
And he got something in his leg. Some animal crawled in his leg.
Ooh.
It was it ended up being fine, but yeah, it was not good for a little while.
Yeah.
That stuff is spooky. You got to sleep with a net on your bed to keep the bugs out. He said there was like a tarantula on his roof. Like real. You don't realize how good we have it just by having a physical shelter.
Yeah.
It keeps most of that stuff out.
Yeah. And just the constant rain and humidity and the different diseases, and
Yeah.
that can definitely be, yeah, it's just a little overwhelming to think about.
Yeah, it's like putting it into perspective. Just having clean running water that you're not going to risk getting sick over.
Yeah.
You know, there's a saying. I think about stuff like this where putting it into perspective. You might be feeling down today, or things aren't going your way, but there are at least 1 billion people who are living in political oppression, or don't have running water, or don't have
Exactly.
toilets. It's like, man, you just got to put things into perspective sometimes.
Yeah. You just have to take a step back.
Yep. And look at what you have and be grateful.
Yeah. I think that's a good life lesson. Very deep.
Sometimes. I'm by myself right now. I'm just my mind's going crazy. So person I've seen outside of work in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. How have you been handling kind of being just going to work and coming home besides going for 50-mile bike rides?
Yeah, I've been keeping myself busy by wearing myself out, so to speak.
Yeah.
Keeping busy. I mean, I'm still working a lot. I'm working 6 to 2 every day physically at work, and then I come home and work my business ESR from usually 2:30 to 6 or 7 p.m. And that's really busy still. So I'm just trying to get the business. I mean, I keep saying it started, but trying to get it fully online. I have a full-time worker in India right now.
Oh yeah.
Yep, and I have my dad working part-time remotely, and also my aunt just started in Westland, so I have 3 people kind of working for me.
Oh.
So every day I'm following up with them and answering questions and helping them along with the process. I have a 43-page user manual on how to upload a product from start to finish. On eBay, for Amazon, Etsy, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, all these different marketplaces that I'm using, my own website through Shopify. So there's a lot of moving parts here. And right now I have access to 8 dropship vendors, and over 25,000 unique SKUs. That's millions of dollars of inventory across a dozen different warehouses around the country, from Florida, California, there's Pennsylvania, Kentucky, I think. There's a couple in California, a couple warehouses out that way. So it's exciting. It just takes a long time to get all of these unique products listed for sale correctly with no errors. Someone who's in another country.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but this is really a way that I can make money while I sleep eventually.
Yeah, you kind of got to build the foundation.
Yeah.
A lot of people think like, oh yeah, that's easy. I'll do it and I'll be making 10 grand next month.
Right.
It takes a while. There's no such thing really as an overnight success.
Right. It's like the tip of the iceberg. You see the success, what happened for the last 5 years before that.
Exactly.
So, it's growing. It's getting better than it was last year. We got more vendors sold than ever before, sold through them. I just uploaded new products through Driven Racing USA last week, and I sold a couple products through them already.
Oh, nice.
Vendor Jim O'Neill, OGO Power Sports, just sold a new product through them. So it's finally getting to that point where they're getting online. So it's exciting. I've already sold over 2,000 orders to 35 countries and all 50 states.
Oh, wow. Have you noticed any uptick in the past few months with more people shopping online?
Yes. In June last month, I sold the most number of orders that I've ever sold in a month. So the dollar amount is about the same. It is increasing a little bit, but I started with a batch of a couple thousand items that were very low dollar amount. So I sold T-shirts and CDs and books and DVDs, just everything I had to get started. I still sell a lot of those things, low dollar amount things, but you don't have to spend a lot of money to support local businesses. I have, I think, 1,000 items that are each under $50 right now for sale on my eBay store. So you buy a book or a DVD for $4, and it helps me out. It does help, because every new sale is another positive feedback. Every new sale is telling the world that I exist, and then you're gonna get this card. And hopefully come back. I made a mistake recently. I felt so stupid, but I'll admit it's not a big deal. I just got a QR code for ESR, right? So I went to a random website. I was like qrcode.com, whatever it was. And I made one. I stuck it on a business card. I ordered 2,500 business cards. And then I found out my free trial is expiring. It's like, oh no, I have to pay for this. So it's already got a business card. I spent, all this money getting the card. It wasn't that much, but and then so I had to buy the QR code trial that I wasn't planning on buying. It's like, oh, I screwed that one up. I should have looked into this more. But that's what I'm trying to do it quickly.
Yeah, well, you got excited and you're trying to. I think that's one of the things early on is there's no mistakes. It's just lessons.
Yeah. So now I have this really cool app that tells me who scanned my QR code and where they are in the country and how many times they scanned it and how many unique devices scanned it. So now I'll have, and it'll be cool to see that. But
you're paying for it.
There was one that I could have chosen that wasn't $60 a year.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. But, oh well.
I guess with all the data points you've been getting, have you been running any analytics on it?
I do. Through EricSwannRacing.com, you can see who's clicking and where they're coming from and how many visits and things like that. And I also use Google Analytics a little bit. It tells you more insights. And also Shopify has their own analytics. So there's a lot of places, and Facebook has analytics, and Instagram has analytics. So,
Yeah.
you know, my reach is actually crazy. Like, how am I sold to 35 countries? And how am I,
Yeah.
one of my biggest followers is Indonesia and Thailand, because it's all about motorcycles and they love motorcycles. I think
Yeah.
Instagram, it's like my top cities goes like New York, Kuala Lumpur, like Indonesia, like
Yeah.
all over the place.
Is that the biggest surprise to you? Like of where your market has been?
Yeah, because I don't advertise there at all. I don't make any attempt to really. I mean, I put my products globally so they can be bought from anywhere, but like I don't go after the Asian market because the shipping costs would be so high. But
Yeah.
sometimes I ship there. Like I've shipped to Australia and Vietnam and all these places where it's like, why would somebody buy this from America and pay $20 shipping? But they do.
Yeah. You have what they need.
Yeah, and that's one reason why I upload so much seemingly like this is not valuable things, because sometimes I'll upload something and it'll sell the next day. I'm like, huh, I never expected that to sell, but I guess that's a good thing I did it. They can't buy it if they don't know it's for sale. So just upload everything. I go by the spray and pray method. I mean, it'd be maybe better to research every product and put it online. But this is a way faster method. Just put everything online. If it doesn't sell, lower the price if you can. If it doesn't sell, advertise it, lower it maybe again, or get rid of it. If not, you tried and move on.
Yeah, you're kind of learning your market. Maybe 10 years from now, you know what your best sellers are, and you can go in there. But I guess when you're starting out, you're like,
just try everything. See what it's.
Trial and error.
Yeah. There's some things that just fly off the shelf, and there's some things that just never sell, and you're like, okay, well, I won't go after that again.
Yeah. What, like, outside of having to keep track of 25,000 SKUs, what's your biggest challenge? You think getting this off the ground?
Really, is just managing them all, because I have this user manual, I have a procedure manual, but it's still I've been doing this since I started ESR officially in 2014 for the racing business side of it. I really didn't start selling things a lot until maybe 2016, 2017, and starting on eBay around 2016, I think. So I've only been doing this a few years, but I just developed this manual, and it's not perfect yet. And the problem is, when we try to list a SKU, there's maybe 80 columns that have to be perfect. And so our vendors only supply a handful of columns, maybe 5 or 6 columns based on the manufacturer price, the titles, the quantity, and maybe another field for weight and dimensions, maybe. So all the other fields that eBay requires, we have to input ourselves based on, common sense or logic or what category numbers or things like that. So there's some work that needs to be done once they give us their images and everything. It's not always cut and dry or an easy answer. So that's where the issues are, is getting somebody from India up to speed on how to inventory a motorcycle part that they don't know how to. And there's 80 fields that could go wrong.
Yeah.
So it's trying to manage all of that information and getting it online correct the first time. And there's just a lot of parts to it. And it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing this, but it's not.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm going after it, because I have the discipline to say, okay, well, this sucks. This is not an easy thing to do, but look at what could happen. If I get 25,000 unique products online that are all over $50, and some of them are a couple $1,000, like I'm selling exhaust and race parts. These aren't cheap items, some of them. So, I mean, you sell 1 or 2 of those a month and you make 25% or whatever the margins are you negotiated with that dealer for that particular item. That changes your month.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. And like, It's kind of you do the work up front, and then you, like you said, once it's up and running,
Yeah,
you're just kind of managing.
right. You're making sure, like I had a vendor just last week, we found 176 items that had been discontinued that were no longer on his sheet that I still had online. That's a problem.
Yeah,
Like it's the goal is for the inventory to be literally synced to their inventory feed, so that doesn't happen. But
yeah,
issues, and it wasn't synced anymore, and they had updated their inventory and it didn't mesh with ours. So it's like, okay, now I got to go through it and do it manually.
yeah.
For that vendor, they have 1,500 SKUs. You got to do 1,500 SKUs manually. You better figure out how to do some formulas in Excel.
Yeah,
So it's a lot of, I don't know how to do this. I'm not an Excel master, but you better figure it out. Otherwise, it's going to take you 6 hours.
yep.
So it's a lot of, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to figure it out. How do I figure it out? Who do I have to call? Who do I have to email? What website do I have to go to? And trying to figure out all these moving parts of things you don't know how to do. And I'm the only person that's physically working here.
Yeah.
Nobody else to ask. I am the last person to do it.
Yep. Buck stops with you.
I'm the only buddy who cares about it. So, you
Yeah.
have to get it right. Otherwise, the shipments are going to go out wrong, or people are going to be mad at you.
Yeah. But I guess that discipline and kind of coming back to it every day is where the sports training growing up comes in handy.
Yeah. Yeah. You just got to keep going. You just got to, for me, it's like, I want to do racing so bad. I'm willing
Yeah.
to build a business from scratch to be able to fund it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Are you thinking about getting back on motorcycles? Or you kind of,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
How's your shoulder been?
My
Do you have any
shoulder
lasting
is,
effects or?
it still cracks and pops at certain angles and things, but yeah, I have full strength in my shoulder. Lately, it's actually been my elbow that's given me some pain. Last year, I had gotten up to doing 100 push-ups, and I started off in sets of 20, and I go up and push up every time. So I do like sets of 20, sets of 22, sets of 23, and I got up to a fairly high level. But I had to stop because I was getting so much pain in my elbow, and I'm not exactly sure why. I thought at first that it might have been since it was my non-dominant hand, that it was just maybe weaker.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit more strain. But I took a couple months off, and the other week I tried doing push-ups again. I did 2 sets of 20, and the next day it was just killing me. And that was like 5 months off of doing push-ups. So
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what I can do with my elbow right now, but like riding the bike is fine, and that's using some elbow strength there too. So I'm not sure what's going on with my elbow, but I do love doing push-ups because it's such an easy thing to do. You don't need to go to the gym. You can do it anywhere. You don't need any equipment. You can do it in 20 seconds. You can do it several times throughout the day. I love doing it. I would do them almost every day, and then maybe that's why I was an overuse injury sort of thing. I'm not sure.
Maybe your tendons have to kind of catch up to your muscles because I think it takes longer for them to heal than your muscles do. So
yeah. So I'm not sure what your initial question was, but yeah, I like doing push-ups right now.
But the answer is you love doing push-ups.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't do enough weight training, to be honest. I think that if I did some squats or some deadlifts or something, it would probably help me with the cycling. It's very much leg oriented and leg strength based. But I just do tons and tons of cardio. That's really all I do. I haven't been doing much running this year. I've been doing a lot of cycling. That's about it lately.
Yeah. I think it's definitely good to keep at least some semblance of a workout schedule together, because I think last year when I switched jobs and my niece was born, so my brother wasn't working out with me anymore. That kind of habit we had for the past 8 years kind of went away, and I've been working out on and off for the past year and a half, but nothing like the 2-3 times a week at least of weight training that we used to do.
Yeah,
so
you
it's
were
one
doing
of
that
those
religiously with him. I remember you go to, was it Lifetime or LA Fitness all the time?
LA Fitness, yeah. So I think it's one of those, once you break the habit, it's hard to get back into it. So it's good, even if you're just doing push-ups, keep
Yeah.
some sort of habit,
Yep.
riding the bike
Now,
or,
I printed out a 30-day ab challenge like 3 months ago. I haven't really opened it yet.
yeah, that can be a next one when you need to give your elbow a break from push-ups.
For sure, I'd like to. And there's a whole bunch of different ones. There's so many workouts you could do. Just do something, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got a little workout area set up down here just so we can work out at home. So we've been doing that a little bit, trying to push myself, but
Yeah. So I haven't talked to Matt lately. How's he doing? He's got a new addition to the family recently.
yeah, so he's been a father for about a year and a half. So he's actually settling in very well. I think he's a really good dad, and it's kind of grounded him a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, I think they're doing very well. I think they just went up north last weekend for a little bit just to kind of get away. But yeah, they've been doing well, and yeah, definitely. Ava's a great new addition to the family, so it's definitely good to have a younger generation, especially at a time like this, just to spread some happiness and joy.
Yeah. She's a happy baby, not crying.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, she's a very happy baby. She's got a very good temperament, so
Good. And Matt's over in Livonia now. Been there for
yeah.
a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they've been there since they got married. It's been 4 years. So I think they're trying to look around, but yeah, the housing market's very hot right now still,
Yeah.
given the low interest rates, and some people just don't want to move right now. So there's a little tightness in the market, and then yeah, so I think they're slowly looking. They could like some more space, but don't want to rush and get pinned into the wrong thing.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I know Kevin just bought a house over near Grand Rapids. It's kind of by the water area.
Oh yeah, your mom mentioned that. Has he officially moved in?
I don't think he's got the keys yet. I think it might be mid to late July. So maybe around now or in a week or two.
Yeah, because I know you had to close. Wasn't it like a bungalow style?
Yeah, it's got
I said?
bedrooms, got a nice garage, detached, nice fenced in yard. He's got a basement. So yeah, he's stepping up the ladder and getting something he's finally comfortable in that is his own. That's exciting. Hello.
There we go.
We're back.
For a second there.
So I don't know if that was me or you, but either
It might have been me. I don't know. I'm in the basement.
either way, I am too.
Yeah, my router's upstairs.
Not a big deal. We are not live anyway.
Perfect. This can be edited.
Yeah, it probably will be. Not a big deal.
Yeah, but you're talking about Kevin getting settled in.
He's got a new place. He's excited. He's gonna get the papers soon. I'm still renting. I'm planning on renting for the next foreseeable future.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, you're kind of in a good spot. How's Kevin doing? I saw you had him on a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he's doing good. He's I think they canceled his race also, and it's going to be Santa Rosa, California. Maybe in a month, or maybe it was right about now. I think he said it was July something. So
yeah,
July, August timeframe. So I don't think that one's going to happen. If not, it might be postponed for the end of the year for his Ironman. But he's still training. He's still doing his miles. If you look on Strava, he's on there, Kevin Swahn.
Yeah.
He's still putting in miles. He always rides. I'm going to dog on him a little bit. He rides indoors on his bike. Maybe he'll see. And he's got his reasons. He does heart rate based training. So he would kick my ass in a straight up power meter race, right?
Yeah.
He's going to beat me power hands down. And that's what he trains for. And maybe his method's better than mine. He's done 4 Ironmans, so I don't know anything.
Can't really talk.
I can't really talk. But I would like to see him outside more, because you see most of the time he's training with his trainer, which is very good for muscle training and endurance training. But I just like to see him outside more, getting that real world experience. So there's both to it. good and bad to both sides. You know, he's maybe has less risk if he's on the trainer. He's not going to fall down and hurt himself.
Sure.
So there's that too. But I just like being outside. I like, because I have a trainer now too. I have what's called rollers.
Yeah.
So you're on top of them, you're riding on top of them, and you can fall off of them, which is more difficult. And, you know, you're in place, but you're not attached to anything. So you have to learn how to ride in 1 foot of space.
Yeah.
Like when you're outside, you have the whole you know, path to worry about, which is 8 feet or so. You got a lot more room to screw up and not crash. But when you're on these rollers, it trains you to be riding in a very, very thin amount of space. And usually when he's riding indoors, he's on a fixed stationary bike. So he's on his normal triathlon bike, but his rear wheel is fixed to something. So you don't get that balance.
Yeah.
You don't get the same core strength workout that you would if you're on something that's not fixed or if you're outside.
Yeah, and I think that'll probably come into a bigger factor if he wants to do the off-roading bikes.
Yeah,
Can't
if you're going to be
practice
doing Xterra, I don't know if you can train for that on a trainer.
Yeah,
that's going to be
probably not on a basic one.
Yeah, it's going to be having to do this all the time.
Yeah. Have you noticed an improvement in your riding since you've been using the rollers?
You know what? I have. I've noticed there's just less motion in my upper body, because if you're doing this and pumping all the time, you're not going straight. So I've gotten a lot better at not standing up on the pedals. You know, that could be good if you're really pushing for going on some uphills. But generally, when you're bobbing up and down, that energy is lost, and it's just wasted energy. This doesn't help going faster on a bicycle. You know, it's learning. You don't need to move your upper body to make your bike go faster. So it's wasted energy. And if you waste less energy, you can put that energy into places that it needs to go. So it's a little bit of that, a little bit of technique, maybe. Technique getting a little bit better. And I do ride way more straight. And a lot of times, if you're in the area that I have, there's not a lot of good city planning. So the sidewalks run out every other block. So I ride in the street a lot of times. And sometimes the speed limit's 45 miles an hour. You better be pretty darn straight when you're riding in the street when these cars are coming by you and they don't respect your 3 feet distancing or whatever it's supposed to be.
There's not always bike lanes and
no, there's no shoulder, and you're riding to the left of the white line. You know, and then there comes up to be a spot on the road that's just terrible pavement, and now you feel like you're on a mountain bike, and you got tires with 100 psi in them. You're not trying to. So, and maybe that's one reason why people don't want to ride on the street, because it's more dangerous. Every time I ride like that, though, I always wear, well, not always, but I really try to wear something bright. Like yesterday, I wore my highlighter orange neon, fluorescent shirt on. And then I have a tail light that blinks at you all the time, red. And I have a headlight that's as bright as the sun that also blinks at you. So if you miss me, if you can't see me, you're not even looking at the road. And I also have around my neck, I now have a whistle. So I don't have a bell on my handlebars, which might be
but to just get their attention.
Yeah, so if there's somebody who's just being blatantly not seeing me, or there's 20 people in the middle of the trail, I'll blow my whistle, and then they know that someone's coming. But if you yell behind and there's 20 people in front of you, it's not gonna go well.
They don't hear anything.
No, they don't care.
I guess isn't that part of the reason why you started motorcycle racing? Is you used to ride on the street more, and then just the safety of it, you're like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, really, it's just not worth it to try to. You can't push the way you push on the track on the street. It's just, you're gonna crash. It's not gonna be safe. You're gonna hurt yourself or someone else. And really, I feel the biggest danger to riding like that on the street is the police. you're going to get pulled over and something's going to happen.
Yeah.
So really, that's one of the biggest dangers for motorcycle riders is the police.
Yeah.
And I get it. So to do it safely, to do it the right way, to be able to measure how well you're doing, take it to the track. You know, at some point when I become rich, I want to of bikes and take my friends to the track. Like, I love it so much. And I think a huge barrier for people not doing it is they think it's too expensive, and it is very expensive. So if I could have some sort of like a couple backup bikes, like, and maybe another couple sets of gear that I could say, hey, AJ, why don't you come to Granton with me this weekend, and we'll throw a leg over the bike, and I'll show you some lines, and we'll go out there and it's doable for anybody as long as you want to do it. You don't have to go maximum 100% on the track. You know, you don't start there. You start going 40 miles an hour with the instructor in front of you and pointing at different things as you go.
Yeah.
And once you learn the basics, you push your own self at your own time. You know, if you feel like you're comfortable, you can say, I want to go a little faster today, and push it 20 feet farther into the braking zone, or 5 feet farther when you get to the limit. So it's just about your own, just like you said, you can only go to your own limit. You're only working with yourself. So person X over here might be doing a fantastic lap time, and that's fine. You can let them go by, and then do your own lap time. And if it's only 100th faster, that's fine.
Yep. It's an improvement.
Yep, just trying to get through it. You know, you don't have to go 100%. You just go at your own pace.
Yeah. Would you ever want to be an instructor?
You know, I've had the opportunity. I chose not to, actually. And the reason was sport bike track time. I could have become an instructor for them, I believe. People that I am faster than and that I have beaten in races are instructors. So there's no saying that I couldn't be one. It's just when I go to the track, when I went to the track, I wanted to work on me. So if you're going to be an instructor, yes, you do get some of your own track time, but there's going to be a lot of sessions where you're going to be coaching someone in novice or intermediate or even advanced classes that are maybe 10, 20, 30 seconds off of your race pace. So, while yes, you get to ride for free and you don't have to pay for your track time, you also don't get the right kind of practice time that you need if you're competing for racing. So when I go to the track, I'm not putzing around going 20 seconds off the lap time, you know. Go to the track, I'm trying to push myself and learn more and go faster every single time. If you're not going faster, either the weather condition isn't good enough, you're doing something wrong. You never want to be going backwards, right? You never want to go to the track and say, I did a 1 minute 21.0, and the next time you'd say, well, I couldn't even touch a 25. You know, if that happens, you're doing something wrong. Either the settings are wrong, suspension, your tire pressure, there's something in the equation that's not right. So yes, you'd still be riding more as a coach, and maybe you would learn more from learning what other people do and what not to do, and teaching it and talking about it. You do learn more, but it's just less of you time. Yeah.
So would it be like a possible option, like when you're done competing?
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't mind coaching if I also had enough track days for me. Like, because it's still seat time. You're still on the bike. And I'm not going to say no to time on the bike, even if you're not going at the full pace. Right now, today, I would just be happy to be out there. I don't care what time I'm doing. So for me right now, okay. All right. I just started recording again. I think the old one is now trying to render itself, so this is a new one, but that's okay. I just have to splice them together. That one was me for sure. It said no internet on my computer. So that
yeah, we've had ours go in and out. Like it looks dark outside right now.
it's I can hear it outside. It's storming right now around me.
Oh,
So
yeah. So
caught out in the rain.
we're west of you, so
Yeah.
probably past.
Yeah. So no big deal. I'll just have to splice them together. I also have a third camera off to the side that's getting in a separate view. So
Oh, nice.
I have a slight monologue. I'll switch it over to that one, get another couple of camera angles. You know,
Yeah.
I thought about asking you. It's kind of late notice, and I probably should have done this a long time ago if I wanted to. But if you put a separate camera, like a side angle, I could use that. Since we're remote, I can't put another camera on you physically, but you could. If you another video camera, I could splice them all together, make it look a little bit more professional.
Yeah, like a TV show. Flip between
it's
camera
like a
angles.
multicam.
Yeah.
Problem is, I found that Zoom is really tough to splice a multicam feed with. You can't actually sync it the normal way through a sound that I normally do. Like if they're all in the same room and it's not through Zoom, I can sync all the video clips in like 4 minutes by just pressing sound and like syncing them. But Zoom, you have to move the playhead based on the audio wave point to get it to sync. So just takes a little extra.
Yeah. How long does it take you to put all these together?
So actually the Zoom ones, the video conference ones are a little bit faster because usually I don't do the separate feeds. If it's 2 feeds or more, then it takes about as long as it takes to record it to edit it.
Okay.
So you have to go through and click, I want this feed or this feed or this feed each time you want to change it. I haven't figured out how to speed it up and do it that way. Because I'm just changing it manually. So, and then uploading and editing is another story. So just to render it and do that is another about the same time. So I've been doing about 2-hour clips lately. It's about at least 2.5 hours to do it, to edit it, and then once you get the clip completed, then you have to export one that's just the clip with the video and audio, one that's just the audio, one that's an hour or less for Instagram TV, and then if it's 2 hours and 10 minutes, you got to make 3 of those less than an hour clips, and then upload them all. So then you have to spend the time to upload it to YouTube and Anchor and then Instagram 3 different times.
Yeah.
So it's not like you record it and you're done. It's probably another 3 or 4 hours after it's done to upload it, to finish everything. So
yeah. Is it more work than you thought it was going to be? Less? Like, have you learned along the way and it's gotten easier, or?
Yeah, for sure. The first couple ones, man, I screwed them up so bad. I thought I was done rendering everything. I finished it, and then I'd go back and look at it, and somehow I only had 12 minutes of video. I'm like, did I lose everything? Do I have to start from scratch? Like I had a couple of those mistakes, and then I've had another 10 mistakes where it's like I exported it wrong and it didn't render properly. And so I just had to redo that part again. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of learning curves, and I made my own couple pages of instructions and what to do and what not to do. So that when I go back to it, and I haven't done it for 2 weeks, that I know what buttons to press and all that. So yeah, it's a learning experience for sure.
Yeah, because you've been doing it for 3 months now?
So actually, I started the very first one back in February with my parents' test. Just getting my feet wet, trying it out. And then I don't think I did another one until like May.
Okay.
But I didn't publish the first one until probably late May, June timeframe. I think I started June 1st.
Okay. So you're coming a month and a half of blowing them together.
So this will be my 12th one. This will be my 12th one that I've recorded. And I also went on one other podcast so far. It was called So You Want to Ride a Motorcycle Podcast. And that was pretty cool. It was the first time I've been interviewed. I was in the hot seat.
Yeah.
That was a new experience. And that one was actually the first one I ever did that was Facebook Live. So I did a live interview, which was a little bit more nerve-wracking because
so if
you have
that
control
glitch,
over it, right?
Yeah.
I have control, and it's out there immediately.
Yeah.
But
Much more cautious of what you say.
a little bit. I was pretty nervous when I first started. That's a barrier for people wanting to do this. Some people say, "Oh, I don't want to do that. That's I'm too nervous of what I'd say or something." But you can talk about so many things and not be controversial, or you can even say controversial things and not be bad and not say bad things. So it's just a whole learning experience.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's getting easier to interview people as you go?
Oh, for sure. You just build on old things and you get more comfortable. And it's like I've done a lot of things that I think have been received pretty well over the years. And it's like, why am I so nervous? Well, what do I'm not racist. I don't have horrible ideals. I think I'm a pretty good person with pretty good morals. I don't really have anything to worry about. You do have to be a little careful nowadays. I do notice in my daily life, I'm more careful what I say, even though I'm not on camera, because I realize that you shouldn't shit talk anybody, because even if it's not on camera, somebody's probably going to run their mouth and say what you just said to them.
Yep.
And it's going to come back to you. So not that I'm a gossip before, but it makes you like second guess. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Because now in today's world, you could have a rant at Walmart and lose your job for something you said at Walmart because somebody had their cell phone out. You should always think you're being recorded. You should always think somebody has a recorder and listening to you that you don't know about, because they probably do, or they probably could have.
Yeah, it's definitely important to be conscientious. I mean, it always was, but
and be respectful.
Now I think before you were just called a gossip or like that. Now it can be easily used against you.
Yeah, and you got to be respectful. Like one of the things that I think I could be good at is commentary, race commentary, for racing, and the broadcast. I think that's something that I could do. And you do hear some of the commentators saying, "Oh, this rider is no good. This rider is a piece of garbage." It's like, okay, but he's in a world championship right now. You think he's really garbage?
Yeah.
You shouldn't talk that bad about people, even if maybe he's having a bad day. There's a right way to talk about people and a wrong way. So it's just navigating those things with nobody telling me what to do. I don't have a producer saying, "Hey, you shouldn't say these things." Right? There's no teleprompter in the back telling me what to say.
Yeah.
I just have 10 bullet points of maybe things that we could cover.
Yeah. Have you looked into potentially doing race commentary?
I mean, I haven't opened up that.
Not seriously.
Not yet, but honestly, like there's so many times where I'm screaming at the TV and then the announcer says the same exact thing. I'm like, because I've been around the sport for so long, and I haven't raced professionally, but I've earned my pro license. I know a thing or two about racing. They say an expert is someone who has made all of the mistakes that can be made in a narrow field.
Yeah.
I made a lot of mistakes. So I'm a good candidate.
Have you ever thought about like doing breakdown videos of like races, or like why a racer did this or that, or like what they did wrong, and like providing commentary that way?
I've kind of done that a little bit with starting to have pro racers on here, but not actually break down specific things. I guess I'm just a little nervous about the copyrights of, like, if I were to have a video on, you don't want to get taken down or things like that. But those are all good things to do. I've thought about what if, so WERA, the organization that I race with the most, has zero coverage. There's zero coverage. They just started putting out one GoPro of the start and finish line on Facebook Live. Just that. So there's almost no social media. There's no film coverage. And I think it would be really cool to try to film a WERA event. Now, it's tough to get people to watch a Moto America Pro event, so I know that the viewership will be low. However, I would watch it. Like they always say, build something that you would use. Build
Scratch your own
something
itch.
that would solve a problem. And there's the problem because there's no money in the sport. And part of the problem is there's no coverage. So there's no money.
Yeah.
So what if I went to the track with my couple tripods here and tried to half-ass film over a race event? You know, I'm not going to have a camera in every corner, but it's going to be better than what's there now.
Yeah. Start somewhere.
And, you know, I'm not a professional editor, but I can sync a multi-cam clip with a camera in turn 1, a camera in turn 6, and a camera in the last corner.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, interview the riders, splice it all together. It might take me a week, you know, and then post a race. Maybe it's the feature race for the weekend. Maybe it's not all the races, but and then there's an opportunity for me to commentate on that footage that I created.
Yeah, it can all kind of pull together, and then it's not copyright because you created it.
Right. So you just have to get it approved. I don't know why the organization wouldn't want extra content, or any content for that matter.
Yeah.
So there's nobody competing to do this. Like, it's an open. Just go ahead and go do that.
Yeah.
So I think there's an opportunity there. However, I'm doing so much right now. There's not time for
only enough time in the day. Yeah.
There's not another time for another thing right now. I feel like I have 5 different jobs. It's a lot on my plate right now. So I'm really just trying to get through this pandemic. Just trying to keep my head down and stay the course and just keep doing what I'm doing. Trying to get 50 to 100 miles a week. So figure if I get that amount every week, then I should be around 2,000 miles this calendar year.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm at about 700, almost 800, I think, right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just did a 50-mile ride.
Yeah, and I plan on riding today. Actually, I don't know how wet it is right now.
It might pass.
I might go for a little spin here.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to get maybe 36 or 37 today, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're going to like Stony Creek, you get muddy and.
Yeah. Well, the thing about riding in Michigan is if you're a fair weather rider, you're not going to be getting many miles in. You got to go out. There'd be times where I go out when it's raining, you know, on purpose, because it's like, well, I'm either going to ride on my rollers, which I don't want to really ride on my rollers, or I'm going to go outside, or I'm not going to get it done.
Yeah. Kind of make the best of it.
I don't mind riding in the rain if it's a decent temperature. If it's really cold and raining, that's no fun.
Yeah. Then it's just chilled to the bone.
Yeah, but if it's wet, sometimes for mountain biking, if it's pouring and if it's really soggy, they don't want you to ride on the trails because it'll screw up and make it and all that. But sometimes I've actually posted faster times in damp weather than I have in the dry, because sometimes it gets a little tacky if it's wet, or it gets a little bit more sticky in places, and sometimes like if it's dry, it'll be too like, or it runs away too much. The gravel is too loose. So some can help, but not all the time.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that unless you did it.
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah. I guess also coming back to this, which guest was the most nerve-wracking so far?
Nerve-wracking, probably Christy Lee.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of them so far, or if you've watched any of the episodes I put out, but
I've watched a few of them. Yeah.
She is probably the biggest person in my network. Not physical size wise, but she's
biggest name.
Biggest name. She's a reporter. She's a movie star. She's on Barrett Jackson's auto auctions. She's been a Red Wings girl in the stands with a microphone. You know, she's on a TV show, All Girls Garage. She's on the Discovery Channel. She alluded to talks with a certain home and garden network, possibly a deal going on right now. So yeah, she's always on a plane somewhere. I'll see her on Instagram. Christy Lee 09 is I think her username, and she's always like, "Oh, I'm in California. Oh, I'm in Florida. Oh, she's just everywhere." You know, I feel like I'm a nobody compared to her.
No.
And I just can't wait to get to her level. I would love to I guess be some sort of mild celebrity. The only reason you're not successful is because 20 million people don't know about you.
Yeah.
I mean, it would help.
It's got to get your name out there and day by day.
Well,
Like
that's
hers
why I'm
wasn't
doing
overnight.
this. That's why I'm doing these, you know. And
Yeah.
I actually had I was supposed to go on somebody else's podcast. That one was canceled and rescheduled for next week. But next week I'm supposed to be going on another podcast of somebody else's, so I'll be interviewed next week. And tomorrow I'm interviewing a guy who's fairly big, I'd say. His name is Gray Pham. He's out of California, and he's actually the videographer for Moto America.
Oh, that's cool.
So the U.S. Pro Motorcycle Championship, he's the video guy. I don't know if he's the only guy. I'm sure they have a couple people doing work over there, but I think he's one of the big producers. GP Industries, I like that because Grand Prix Racing, but all his initials, GP.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Play on words there. So
that's kind of exciting. And then this is a cool tool to just be able to ask them any questions.
Yeah, and I've never met him before. He's obviously a way better videographer and editor than I am. So maybe I can pick his brain for some pointers there.
Yeah.
But
that'd be cool.
But yeah, but even for the Christy Lee interview, I wasn't super nervous. I mean, unfortunately, that one was also via video conference, so maybe I would have been more nervous if she was in person.
Yeah.
I've known her for a decade. I've known her. I've seen her at the racetrack. We've talked a whole bunch of different times. She's done track days. Like, she's super down to earth. It's not like
it's not starstruck type thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around a lot of pro athletes for quite a while now. And something that I think is important to remember or realize that really did help me is riding and racing with some of these people who are now pros, or they're just normal people. They're no different than me or you. And people put these people on pedestals and they say, oh, wow, you know, this person's achieved so much. How could I ever compete with them? Well, if you put that away and you just say, well, they're another person on this machine, and I'm going to do my best and see what happens, is a lot of times you can compete with them. You just sometimes you psych yourself out.
Yeah, it's kind of the mental aspect of it.
Yeah, so in another way, me talking to these pros is helping desensitize me to talking to these higher up people, right? It's like, I'm good at talking. I've done this for how many years now? It's not a big deal. It's just you're doing it with somebody different.
Yeah, and then you realize they're just people.
They're just people. So let's make a little transition. I got a different bullet point.
Yeah.
Random one. What do you look at for future technologies, whether it's sports or related to sports? What do you think the next big technology is going to be, and what does that look like?
Next big technology. Or
maybe what do phones look like?
Like the next thing in sports, I guess I'm trying to think. The best way to hone it down. Are we thinking like for the actual athlete, or are we thinking for the entertainment side of sports?
Well, I mean, there's so many different things, whether it's iPads being bigger, or laptops going away, or Neuralink brain implants, things like that going into your head. It's like I hear Elon Musk talking on a podcast saying in 5 to 10 years we might not need to talk anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Or like, there's global satellites that are they're going to be providing broadband internet to the entire world in a decade or less. Like the
Yeah.
entire world is going to be coming online in a decade or two. And what does that mean? They say that there's another 1 to 3 billion people who don't have internet access right now. And what do all of those people need?
Yeah. So I guess the one big thing that I constantly keep thinking about when things are coming online is just general computer security.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
how many people don't understand the basics of it? Like if you have the Internet of Things, everything's syncing up, and then you don't have a basic firewall, or
Yeah.
even like if you're going online, VPN, and if you're at a coffee shop. Like I think there's so much unknown. People realize the ease of technology,
Yeah.
but all that interconnectedness, you need to be able to understand the security side of it as well and build that into it as you're going. So being conscious. So you want to always push the boundary of technology, but be conscious that you don't pull a I Am Legend or like
So
go a step too far.
So basically, internet crimes, internet cybersecurity is a big one, and that's been a big one since the internet started. We still don't know
Yeah.
how to stop, and that's one of the hardest things. I watched a documentary on this. It said we don't want to. Obviously, we're not promoting this, but a cyber criminal could be anywhere in the world using a VPN, and we don't know. They could be down the street. They could be in Russia. They could be in China. We just don't know, and it's just hard to stop those attacks. And something that could be dangerous is what if you have a fitness watch and someone can hack into your fitness watch and tell when you're asleep and break into your house while you're asleep, right? I mean, it's possible, right? That's
There's just
the thing is
so
possible.
many, and then like the complexity of bringing on another 1 billion to 3 billion people into a system.
Yeah.
You don't know what can happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknowns. So while technology can be very good, I think it's important to look at the other side of it too while you're doing it. Be conscious of it.
Yeah. I'm really excited for the electric cars. I think that's going to help humanity in a big way. I mean, I live next to a major highway. What does that pollution do to me? What does that pollution do to my life expectancy?
Yeah.
Like, am I losing years by living here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And even like, well, think back in the day, they used to have leaded gasoline. Like, luckily, they've at least caught on to that. Now it's unleaded. But just being able to switch to electric cars, it's just, I think they have to make the jump of combustion engines have 100 years on them.
Yeah.
Like, I think like when cars were originally created in 1900s, they were all kind of on the same foot, but then oil, like Rockefeller needs something to do with his offshoot of kerosene, and that was the incentive to build combustion engines, and it's kind of taken off since.
Yeah.
So now just curious to see how quickly electric cars can catch up.
Right. And I was just watching they already have Moto E for motorcycle racing. So electric bikes. And I think they just increased the torque. And I'm not sure about the horsepower, but I know they increased the torque by 10% this year, which is a significant gain. Usually you're looking for like a 0.5%, 1%, like 10% gain in a year in their bikes is dramatic. And and they're pretty comparable to the 600cc bikes. So actually the intermediate class called Moto 2 is not really a 600 class anymore. I think they're using Triumph triple cylinders, 3 cylinders with 765 or so cc. So it's a little higher. So it's a little harder to compare it to a 600, but they're about only 2 seconds off a lap from the 700cc to the electric Moto E, which is not far off at all. I mean, like their last place rider might be competitive in the other class. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of, it'll be interesting to see how those gaps are bridged in the coming years.
Yeah.
I guess people keep focusing on that. Would you ever switch over to an electric bike?
I would love it. Now, I would ride anything. So yeah, I'd like to try.
You don't care what's driving it?
I don't really care what the power unit is. It could be electric, steam powered, gasoline, whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to be on a bike and riding again. One of the reasons I started riding is just it's like a meditation. It just clears your mind. There's nothing else you can focus on but your riding,
Yeah.
because it's a life or death thing. Sounds dramatic, but it is. And putting yourself into that zone, it's like nothing else. You just feel that vibration. You feel like the wind in your hair, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's just
Brings you right to that moment.
it brings me back to peace in a way. It's
Yeah.
violent, but it's peaceful.
Yeah. But I think that focus helps, because nowadays our focus is so scattered.
Yeah.
It can easily be yanked every which way. So when you're on that bike, that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about anything else.
Yeah, and so when I'm pedaling, it's a little bit of that, but it's more work, you know.
Yeah.
It's
not just
work,
yeah.
more cardio. Because even though you're on a motorcycle, you're still working a lot. You might not be pulling your feet, but you're using your feet. You're basically doing like a 45-minute squat or 20-minute session squat the whole time, you know.
Yeah.
So a lot of legs and core.
Yeah, and you got the tension of keeping the bike straight, and as you get used to it, the oh shit moment of I'm not gonna fall.
And when you go faster, those happen all the time.
Yeah.
It's about making those moments smaller and smaller. That makes you go faster.
Yeah.
There was a
Makes
guy.
it more fun.
I won't give all the spoilers out for people who haven't seen it, but Mark Marquez, the GOAT of MotoGP, the Shaquille O'Neal of MotoGP, he had a save today. I didn't get to finish watching it because we had to do this, but he tucked the front, so his front wheel was about to crash. He was about to lose the front end of his bike, and he saved it. So he was going like 130 miles an hour around this corner. He tucks the front, he saves it, he's still on the bike, and now he's going 100 miles an hour into the gravel. And he's like bucking and weaving and just saving it and staying on the bike. And any other rider, anybody else who had that moment in that corner would have been down in a heartbeat. But this guy somehow magically saves all of these crashes. Like he's got a highlight reel of 20 different crashes, and then he saves it. It's like, your shoulder was on the ground, dude. How did you save that crash?
Do you think it's practice, or do you think it's just like some natural reflexes?
It's a lot of things. I think this guy lives at the limit. He lives there. He's not just sometimes pushing the limit. He's always at the limit. And so if you're always there, you're always going over it. And when you're always going over it, you get used to those feelings. And from pushing over it every single race weekend he's been at for the last 12 years in the Grand Prix circuit, he's learned how to get out of those moments. And I've even crashed before where I'm like, I've 100% crashed. There's no way I'm going to save it. But if you follow the fundamentals and you keep your throttle, pinned, you're not offloading throttle because you're scared. If you're constantly slowly accelerating, letting that rear tire come back up to speed with the front tire, if you follow the fundamentals, sometimes the bike just does what it does and catches itself. If you panic, a lot of times when you panic, you'll shut off the throttle because you're like, oh, I'm crashing. Oh no, let me slow down. Well, that's a prime motion to cause a crash. So a lot of it's counterintuitive to what you think. So if you feel like you're crashing, they say, when in doubt, throttle out, which means either give it more gas and that'll save the crash, or give it more gas and it'll help you crash faster. So sometimes it's not always helpful. But,
so you almost have to learn to keep your cool and not panic.
Yeah, it's very, very much a mental game. It's very much, and then he almost crashes, and then he gets right back onto the pace, and he's dead last. He was leading the race, goes all the way to dead last. He only lost like 10, 15 seconds maybe going off the track. Comes back on, and now he's still lapping faster than the entire field.
Yeah.
He just had a oh shit moment at 100 miles an hour.
Just instantly
Almost
over it.
wadded up his bike and made it a yard sale. And
Yeah.
now, right afterwards, right back to where race pace, lap record pace almost, right back to it. And it's like,
Yeah.
that is one of the differences between us mortals. It's like after that, I would have been having to clean myself up.
Yeah. Hyperventilating.
Oh, yeah. And then he's just like, oh, well, that wasn't good. Let's not do that. Well, let's go right back to 100%. And
Yeah.
that's what you get with, I don't know, 7-time world champion who's a year younger than me.
Yeah, that's a mental edge.
It's they call him an alien. They call him he's not from this world because it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I would definitely be panicking.
Yeah, and there's been times like he doesn't need to always win the race for his championship points. Even in the last race of the season that he had to finish the race to win the championship, he's still pushing out front, going 100%, having the same moment, having the same almost crash at the last round of the season when he doesn't need to do that. And sometimes you think, well, that's stupid. Why would you so much? But he has this other level, and he didn't even crash. You know, he had the same type of thing where it's like, oh my God, he was almost down. He's pushing the front for a football field. It's just some people, they operate at a different mental plane than the rest of us.
Yeah, that's what makes him the best.
Yeah.
At a certain point, your physical tools tap out, and it's gonna all be mental.
Yeah. And I guess let's make another jump. Another bullet point here. Books. You're a huge reader. You're an inspiration to me. I remember you read an entire Harry Potter book in a day in like 4th grade.
Yeah.
You've just always been a voracious consumer of books.
Yeah.
Tell me about
I guess it's kind of always been a thing. I guess some of that comes out of when your mother's a reading teacher.
Yeah.
Kind of gets drilled into you, but now books have always been kind of a big part of my life. It's kind of where I go to help relax. And just, I've always been curious. And books has been kind of the medium that kind of can satiate that thirst, I guess.
Are you a big fiction or nonfiction? What do you gravitate towards?
So I guess when I was younger, it was more fiction, but it's been more nonfiction biographies the last few years.
Okay.
So I'm halfway through a Winston Churchill biography. That's 1,000 pages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's been really good. So I've been reading that, and then picked up a couple of used books past couple weekends ago.
Okay.
One of them was kind of an ancient Greek history, and then I try to like flip back and forth and read some fiction mixed in between, and kind of pick them up and set them down. Like if I get tired with the topic, I'll just set it down and then come back to it at another time.
So you are a dabbler?
Yeah. Whatever intrigues me at the moment.
It's not always you open a book and have to finish it from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of books where I read half the book and I go, that's enough.
Yeah.
I think I have the idea.
Yeah.
Like I generally try to finish them because you never know what you'll get at the end. But yeah, I mean, if I don't like the book, I'm not going to keep reading it.
Yeah. No sense in dragging yourself through another 8 hours of misery.
Yeah. You'll know pretty early on, probably the first 50 to 100 pages, if you're going to like the book. So
yeah. And you said you read that Winston Churchill recently. Is there any other things that pop out that you've read recently?
I just finished the second to last book. The last one hasn't come out yet. In Robert Caro's The Years of Lyndon Johnson.
Okay.
So I finally finished that. I started a few years ago, and that's when I picked up and sat down. But they're all 500 pages each. But he hasn't come out the last one because I think actually he was supposed to go to Vietnam to research it, but he's like 83, and he was supposed to leave in March. But pandemic kind of threw a wrench in the plans.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
just
I
waiting
used
for him to
to.
finish that one up.
I used to always be the kid in high school. We were very opposite. I would never read anything. I'd be the kid
Yeah.
that look at Spark Notes 5 minutes before the test, um, and never read anything. I mean, I read like a couple of the books, but most of them I didn't. And it wasn't until college that I really started taking school, or probably senior year of high school, I started taking school seriously. I was like,
Yeah.
I got a 4.0 before. Let me actually hunker down, and I got a 4.0, and I was like, okay, well, I can do this. I can.
Yeah.
I felt like I was smart, but I just never really applied myself.
Yeah. It's just kind of focus.
Yeah, and then after college, I was like, man, I can start to read the books that I want to read, because all these
Yeah.
years, for the first 14 and a half years or so, I'm reading books that I really don't care about. I mean, some
Yeah.
are interesting or had different points that I liked, but I want to read the stuff that I want to read, not the stuff you tell me to read, you know?
Exactly.
And so after that, I became such a reader. And after my crash in probably 2015, I really started reading a lot. I've read like 20 books a year since 2015, every single year,
Yeah.
and more. And now, I don't have a ton of time anymore to actually open up physical books and read. So I'm
Yeah.
huge on Audible.
Yeah. On your 50-mile bike rides.
I don't do Audible on the bike rides, but I do usually do either before work or after work, on the way to work, in the car. I'll put on
Yeah.
Audible, and consume a lot that way in the car. And
Yeah.
I'll put it up to, for a while I did times 1.25 speed, and now I do
Yeah.
times 1.5. And my brother was in the car with me. He's like, man, you can't do anything slow. You can't even listen to what the hell?
Got a
Just
need for
relax
speed.
for a minute. So, but really,
Yeah.
it's like I can hear everything. I can comprehend everything that they're saying. I don't have a problem with comprehension at 1.5 speed. So it's like you get through the book time and a half faster.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I've been working from home the last 4 months now. So I haven't been doing as many audiobooks or podcasts, but every time I drive into work, that's what would be on.
yeah. So I've been doing that for quite a while, and it's just such a great way to consume information. And you're doing other things while you're doing it, so you might not get 100% comprehension, but you might get 80, 90% of that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, if it's a good one, I'll re-listen to it.
Yeah.
I just I read the book Abundance by
Oh, yeah.
Peter
Peter.
Diamandis and Stephen Kotler.
Yeah.
One is a great one. I think I've actually read that twice now,
Yeah.
cover to cover, and it's one of my favorites. It's probably my top 5. It's one of those books that makes you feel. It puts you into perspective again.
Yeah.
It says, okay, well, the world isn't really falling apart, even though it looks like it every other week. Something new is popping up.
Yeah.
You read that book and you're like, okay, we're doing okay now. We're doing
Yeah.
better than we've ever done. There's more abundance than ever. We're just going through a rough patch. So I just downloaded that one on Audible and just began listening to that one for the first time. So
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I think I listened to that one on Audible a few years ago.
yeah. And they have another one, Bold, which I'd also recommend. It's along the same lines, but it's actually, this one talks about more of how well we're doing and what the new things are coming. And Bold is like the new technologies that are coming up.
Yeah.
So
It's definitely cool to get a pulse on it.
yeah,
Because if you're not involved in it every day, you don't know.
right. And you see just all this negativity out there, and you don't see all this abundance that's really coming online, and what's happening with the X Prize and all their different initiatives.
Yeah. There's a lot of positivity, which you don't really see in the news cycle.
No.
That doesn't sell.
Yeah, it doesn't really. Yeah, it doesn't really sell. But I think who is it? Jim Krasinski from The Office.
Yeah.
He had some sort of positive podcast, like Happy News of the Day. I saw.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah. During the pandemic.
Yeah.
What was it called? I'm blanking.
It's like happiness of the day, or today's goodness of the world.
Yeah. It's kind of a nice, refreshing change of pace.
Yeah, you don't get that in today's world. Um, so when do you think this whole pandemic thing is going to go away? What does that look like? We're going to have like a vaccine, I think, before it ends.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's one of those things you don't know what a week from now is going to look like.
Yeah.
Like, an ideal world, it's probably vaccine in 6 months and then go from there. But then even people's habits in general have been altered.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to adjust differently. You'll have the people that the second the stay-at-home order lifted, rushed out to a restaurant and
Yeah.
it was right back to normal. And then
Right.
you have people that slowly ease their way back out. So I think it'll be, depends on the person. I think they'll probably leave a scar for a couple of years.
I think this is going to be not like the 2008 financial crisis. I think this is going to be 4 or 5 times as big as the financial crisis.
Yeah, if we're just looking at an economic basis, yeah.
I think, yeah, it's just think about how many people right now are still out of work and who probably aren't going back to work.
Yeah, all the fields we talked about at the beginning of this that are very service, I mean, like entertainment, live.
Yeah.
So concerts or restaurants. Restaurants are a big one. Hotels, tourism in general.
Yep.
Going to be a while.
And I just bought a simulator, a racing simulator for the house with a full chair and pedals and everything. And this company, Fanatic, I think they're out in California. They might be actually international, but they have a warehouse in California. They are just so crazily inundated with orders right now that they can't, they're months behind. They have, because everybody's inside. You see that there's sim racing on TV now. They can't keep up with the demand. So yeah, some of these industries are booming, but just other industries are suffering. And I think I don't want to be a pessimist here, but honestly, I think it's going to get worse over the next 10 years with, you see AI and the technology taking over more jobs, and more jobs aren't necessarily going overseas, but more jobs are being eliminated from just technology changes and automation. And I worry about, it's going to be a little while before everything is up to speed, but with these truck drivers and automated car driving and all of the drivers and all of the delivery people, things are going to pick up. And sorry to keep going, but like, we're in the midst of a retail apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like Sears, Kohl's, JCPenney, I don't know all the names. So many, Pier 1, bankrupt, Kmart. Like the list goes on and on and on and on. Every day, every week, there's a new bankruptcy that's happening. And not all of them are going away, but they're going to restructure maybe, and it's not going to be the same.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's been a lot of change at once, but if you want to flip it on the positive side is you don't necessarily predict the future and how it's actually going to happen. Because 25, 30 years ago, when you pictured the internet, nobody's like, yeah, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
But also look how many jobs were created through it. So there's jobs we don't even know will exist yet. So I think there'll be a balance. I think it'll probably eat up a lot of traditional jobs that people are used to. So I think people have to be nimble on their feet and be creative and learn to adapt.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I think this podcast aspect of the business could be so valuable is this could never be done by a robot. This is a creative venture that could never be taken away. I don't have a producer. There's no big overhead. All it takes is a couple cameras I already have and some time editing it. And when hopefully with some of the businesses, the retail businesses, the storefronts going out, more people are shopping online. And I do see that trend with people buying more things online. So hopefully, it migrates to there. And they don't just buy through Amazon Prime, because I'm Amazon, but to be in Prime, you have to have your stuff at their facility. So there are also, I think, seller fulfilled Prime, but you have to be like a super seller.
There's there's all sorts of hoops you have to jump through. But yeah, if you can position yourself, take advantage of the changing landscape, that would be good.
Yeah. So I hope to have all kinds of people on here. I like to have my vendors on here. I like to have
Yeah.
professional racers, people who aren't involved in racing like yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
friends. I think it'd be really cool to get musical artists like rock stars and people who I like to see, people I've seen in concert, people, there's
Yeah.
local bands that are awesome. Why not
Yeah.
reach out to them, see who I can get?
Yeah. I guess it's kind of scratch your own itch, just kind of follow your own curiosities.
Yeah. And, it doesn't matter where this takes me. They say 1 in a million. If there's a 1 in a million chance, that means there's 7,000 people out there who would like that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're gonna find
Okay.
your niche, your niche, and just go after it.
Yeah, what's the 1,000 true fans is what you really need to sustain it.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe I sent that to you one time.
Yeah, was it Kevin Kelly?
Yeah, Kevin Kelly, the guy from Wired.
Yeah.
That's kind of my goal. If I can get 1,000 true fans, I can do this full time and race.
Yeah.
It might take me 100,000 half-ass fans for me to get there. But I'm gonna try, man.
Yeah, but just bit by bit.
I got about 80 years left to try, so I'm already halfway there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's worth a shot.
So
Like you said, you've always been a hustler, so you always land on your feet.
try to, man.
You're not afraid.
Crash.
Yeah.
Gotta land on your feet.
Yeah. Exactly. You're not afraid to pivot and try a new direction.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how I'll get there. I might have to change some things about the business or the podcast, maybe even. But I'm not going to stop until I get there. Until I can do professional motorsports full time.
Yeah.
The business is selling a lot of money.
Yeah, kind of have your end goal, and then however it gets there, it gets there.
Yep. And start with the end in mind, right? And reverse engineer it.
Yep. Kind of each step. So I think you're on a good path right now.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I got another question here for you. This one, I don't know if you've thought about this too much. Maybe you're doing it now. I'm not sure. But retirement. What do you want to do when you don't need to make money anymore and it doesn't matter where you live? What does AJ Dombrowski want to do with your life?
Read? No. I get like it would kind of just be able to follow your own curiosities, like be able to have the financial stability that you can work on whatever project you want to work on. So like if I want to build a new website, or if I want to go work as a park ranger for 6 months, I don't know, some random, like you can just kind of follow your curiosities and you're not necessarily worried about putting food on the table or things like that, being trapped in or like scared that you're going to lose your job.
Right.
And like if that happens, then all these things cascade. So just kind of being able to remove fear a little bit from the equation.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that's everybody. Everybody is like, especially now, everybody's scared. Everybody's like, well, man, if I lose my job, then I'm going to lose this and I'm going to lose that. And it's a snowball domino effect that a lot of people don't have control over right now.
Yeah.
And it's scary, for me. I'm doing okay with the business. I don't have a huge overhead, thank goodness, but there's a lot of people who really can't open, or they're open, but there's no sales. And it's like, well, now you got a $5,000 monthly rent and payroll plus that. So like, how do you just get through these months that you don't have zero income?
Yeah. It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would just be, if I get to that point, traveling more, reading more, seeing more family and friend time.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize how much time you actually spend at work. I mean, it wouldn't just be 100% leisure time, because I think that goes too crazy. But
yeah. The end goal is not idle time.
No.
I mean, the end goal is to just be able to dedicate the time that I want to whatever area it is I want to dedicate it to.
Exactly.
I want to be able to choose if I want to work or not have to work every day. It's that, I'm incredibly disciplined, but it'd be great to just be on a beach for a month, right?
Yeah.
So
And not have to worry about it.
yeah, just the luxury of money is the allure
Well,
for me.
I think the luxury of money can bring you the luxury of time.
It's security, time and
Yeah.
security.
Yeah.
So
Because
yeah,
you don't really get that time back.
I feel very fortunate that I'm really working on a life goal of mine already. Most people,
Yeah.
they don't start working on their life end goal until they're 40, 50. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and you can start whenever you can. I just found something I'm so passionate about that pushes me into a position that I feel like I have to do this.
Exactly. It does it, like when you come home from your day job, does it feel like a burden to have to do the
Yeah, I
rest of the
mean,
work
some
from 2 to
days it's
6?
like I don't want to do this. Some days there's some days
Yeah.
I just want to like maybe I didn't get enough sleep last night because I was up late working on something for the business, and now I'm dragging all day today, and I don't want to come right home and ship orders and answer all the questions and do QuickBooks and all this stuff. It's there are a lot of tedious tasks that I don't love.
Yeah.
The end goal is something that I will hopefully immensely love, and if it works out, could be a life changer.
Yeah.
You know,
It's kind of, realize it's all worth it.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I don't love that I'd love to hire more people to do, but it's not enough. I don't have enough sales right now to warrant me hiring 10 employees. So
Yeah.
I got to do the grunt work. I got to build a foundation. I got to get to, man, if I get to at least 5 figures a month, like I'm pretty much golden.
Yeah.
Once you get to that threshold, it gets a lot easier.
Yeah.
Hire people to take you out of the things that you hate.
Yeah. Kind of reach that critical mass.
Yeah, and I mean that's not the end goal. That's the nearest realistic goal. And
Yeah.
in the next couple of months, I plan on legitimately increasing my inventory by 2 to 3 times what I have now online.
Yeah.
Like I think I maybe have a little over 2,000 items online out of those 25,000.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a significant amount of growth that's going to be happening in the next couple months to a year or two.
Yeah.
Imagine if I'm doing X amount of sales today and I triple my inventory in the next few months. Hopefully you triple your sales. Now it's not going to be that linear.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's tremendous room for growth right now.
Exactly. And it's a good opportunity or a good time to kind of focus on online business.
Yeah, there's never been a better time when all the stores are closing and everybody's inside online. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this podcast, because everybody's always consuming content. How much content are you making for them to consume?
Exactly.
So, like I said, I don't know where this will go. I'm probably never going to be Joe Rogan's status at 8 million followers.
But you're learning valuable skills.
Yeah, it's fun. It's I get to talk to cool people like you. We haven't connected often lately, but good to reconnect. And it's cool. Maybe I'll talk to a race team owner, and they'll have a ride open for me.
Yeah, you never know what doors this could open.
So it's I even thought, man, if I'm doing this, if I'm myself out there, what's the next level? What's the next level that I can put myself out there? Well, reaching out to other podcasters. So going on their shows and networking with them.
Yeah.
I even thought, why don't I call like Local 4 and go on their show? Like the news. Like, really, why not? If I'm trying to get myself out there as much as possible, that would help.
Yeah.
And maybe they wouldn't take my story or would not want to talk to me, but it's like, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst they're going to say? No?
Yeah, I've gotten 7,000 no's already. What's another no? I'm used to the no. It's par for the course. You're going to get...
Yeah, you just ignore them.
I think I asked 50 people to do this, and I got maybe 15, 20 yeses. So there's going to be some no's, and I don't take it personally. It's like, okay, next.
Yeah, part of life.
Yeah.
Put your head down and keep going.
Yeah. So I think that's about 2 hours, even with the blip we had.
Yeah, it's actually great timing because it looks like my computer is dying down here.
Very good. Well, I appreciate the chat with you, rambling on for a little while, but
Yeah, it was good to catch up.
I'll probably post this later on this week. Just gotta
Okay.
splice everything together, find the time to do that, and
Okay.
get it posted. So
Yeah, yeah.
thanks for tuning in with me, watching. Where can people find you, AJ? Where are you online? Are you out there anywhere?
Actually, I'm not. Like, I've kind of scaled way back, so I've just been kind of focused on more analog stuff
Okay.
and just texting and phone calling and kind of taking the time in the quarantine to take a breather.
You know, I was going to ask you because I couldn't find your Instagram. I was like, man, I can't find it. What happened?
Yeah, I got rid of a lot of it.
Good for you. It's probably weight off your chest in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of take a step back and just helps with focus in general.
So you would recommend it?
I mean, it's not for everyone, but like myself, I'm more naturally introverted, and I guess like I don't have a business, I'm up and running and things like that. So the cost benefit kind of analysis for me was leaning more on the side that it was just kind of I found myself just wasting time as opposed to doing things productive on it.
Yeah.
You just kind of like you just open it and scroll.
Yeah. It's a mindless thing. It's
yeah.
I think the word for it is it's an infinity pool.
Yeah.
It never ends. It's always just there's always more. There's always more. And it's not
exactly
helping anything.
Yeah. So being able to take that step back has been kind of nice.
Your own time.
Yeah.
Well, very good. I like that aspect. That's very good. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Hope you have a great weekend, end of your weekend, and it's pretty wet outside, so I don't know if I'll
be. I can hear the thunder here.
Yeah, so.
For the storms here.
So thanks for talking with me, AJ. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, thanks. You as well. It was a pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.